Welcome back to Car-Pinionated, our weekly show about cars, the car industry, and driving in general. I'm Doug Stewart, Senior Digital Content Producer at Fox 61 in Hartford, Connecticut. And this is my friend Glenn Packman, who is a noted comedian and a car enthusiast, and my friend of 30 plus years, and resident of beautiful Fairfield County.
Indeed.
Glenn,
Yeah,
so there's been stuff going on with Fisker of late.
it's true.
Um, so we did an episode a while back, explaining their, problems which were many.
Mhm.
And since then, they've declared bankruptcy is basically what happened. So they are liquidating and selling off everything. And I don't, they had like several thousand cars that had left to be sold, and I wouldn't want to buy one. Would you?
Nope, nope. Just the parts thing is going to be an issue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they didn't I don't think they made enough of them to create a parts bin down the road. So,
This is
uh,
a problem.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
a problem.
it really would be.
Uh, they are selling 3,000 of the cars to a company called American Leasing, and this is part of the bankruptcy procedure.
Mm,
3,000 of, and they have to wait for the recalls to be done on these cars, and then they're going to this company will be leasing them to rideshare drivers, and they'll be able to take them and go on their merry way,
right.
uh, to the tune of, I think, they're buying them $14,000 each.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Look,
maybe that's an okay price for a car that is going to essentially be a disposable car eventually.
true.
I mean, as soon as you're going to need some major repairs on it. I don't know who's going to
Yeah.
fix it. But, if they can
Right.
sub in other things, that's way beyond my realm. But all I keep picturing in my mind is I think of the movie Wall-E, where he's the little trash compactor, and there used to be millions of them, and then flash forward 700 years in the future, and he's the only one left, and he
Mhm.
just keeps scavenging parts off of all the other dead Wallies out there. So somebody's going to have a Fisker that'll last 700 years. It'll be one person, but it makes sense. I suppose it makes sense for a large company to buy as many of them as they can, because just for that
True.
reason, they can keep them going for a while, and that might actually make financial sense out of something that is kind of a financial disaster. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on the company itself? I mean, we had talked originally a couple months ago, and then when they went bankrupt, we haven't really talked since they declared bankruptcy.
Right.
Any thoughts on that?
I feel bad for Fisker himself. He seems like a decent enough sort, and he just his timing has been bad in both of his venture cases. I mean, the first one, his first car was that, uh, you know, it was
The
a very
karma.
stylish, very expensive roadster at a time when that was sloping off. So it just
Mhm.
wasn't the right car. And this time around, I mean, we're kind of hitting sort of a peak with the electric car market, where things are starting to recede a little bit now, and the pains are starting to be real. And I just, I don't think his timing was great. The car itself seems okay. I don't know too much
Mhm.
about it really. I've certainly never driven one, but I've seen one up close. I mean, it's kind of sharp. It's a nice size, but I don't think it was enough to stand out. And it was, in its raw form, it was probably not cheap enough to really make a dent. So once again, just, it's hard for a new car manufacturer to get off the ground. It
Oh
really
yeah.
is.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
I would agree that it's a nice looking car.
yeah,
It's
sure.
it's not stand out like God, that's gorgeous, but it's certainly decent looks, the style. I think, you know, at the end of the day, they didn't have a really great product.
Yeah.
Um, that, we talked about, the they delivered one to Consumer Reports, which was almost dead on arrival,
Yeah.
right? And and so they their problems with software, problems with hardware, problems down the list,
Mhm.
and you know you can't do this in that you can't do that in this market, right?
Yeah.
Because a people are spending a lot of money and they're paying a lot of interest, right? So
Mhm.
they're demanding a product. They have other products out there that are much better, put together in the final analysis. The Rivians and the Teslas and
Mhm.
whatever, and the traditional manufacturers. Um, Not to say that any of those are perfect. You
No.
know, we can look at the issues with the Cybertruck, but
Again.
quick aside, I saw something that uh some guy's Cybertruck was attacked by raccoons, and the only thing they could figure, they were trying to get into the tailgate, and the only
Uh-huh.
thing they could figure is because the whole thing looked like a dumpster.
Looks like a dumpster, right? Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but all those things conspire, and
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like they had Fisker had a good back back office. The what they were doing. I mean, it's him, it's his wife, who's I think the CFO, and it just gets kind of there were a lot of checks that they never cashed, and
Right. Right.
uh,
It just, you have to, I mean, I'm gonna give Tesla credit for establishing a niche pretty well with their
mhm,
four base models. If they had stuck with just the original, which was the S, they wouldn't be in business anymore because that,
right,
it's a very expensive four-door. But they were smart enough to take their design and push it into SUV land. And then they came out with the Model 3, which could be had relatively cheaply. I mean,
mhm,
after you got a tax credit back, that car is starting to get back into gas pricing territory. So a lot of people that weren't considering an electric car were looking at the 3 and going, well, and some people think it's absolutely gorgeous. I think some days it looks great, and other days I'm like, nope. But
mhm,
it still filled that niche. I'm thinking all the way back to the 90s with Saturn when they came out with the plastic clad bodies that people liked. They had a sedan, they had a coupe, and the sedan was exactly the market that was hitting at that point in time.
mhm,
Original generation Saturn was a big deal. I mean, it
mhm.
was the it car, and then they came out with the replacements, which were just not. You know, they
Just
lost they lost the mojo on that car.
yeah,
And I think the Fisker is a car that just didn't have the mojo, unfortunately.
mhm, right,
Nice little car, nice size. Like you said, not bad looking, but not enough to make a dent. No pun intended. Um, it just, and I think if you're going to be that new car manufacturer, that's what you really need to do. And you have to
Eh,
have all those other things tackled. I mean, the DeLorean was incredible to look at, but everything else went wrong, and you just, it's such a high risk field. You can't not have those
right,
bases covered. So, you
right,
know, credit to Tesla for a decent run so far. They're starting to hit their slowdown too, where
right,
they're laying
right,
people off and the company is now receding rather than expanding. And that's
mhm,
hard. I mean, that's part of the growth thing. My suggestion to Tesla is start updating your design. It's 7 years
mhm,
old at this point,
mhm,
and we need some take the 3, brush it up, do some new, make it a new car and make it something that people want to trade their old 3s in for, you
mhm.
know,
Yeah, yeah,
and take
yeah,
the X and the Y and make them more SUV. But we're not talking about Tesla.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Fisker never even got there, unfortunately. So, Feel bad. I always want to see everybody succeed or at least have a chance, you know.
And I think if you compare the startup process for Fisker, and I think I I think it's hard to compare it to Tesla because when Tesla was starting, it was a completely different market, and
Correct.
they were able to have a long runway before
Yes,
before they hit public consciousness, right? But
absolutely.
now
Yeah.
you're in this marketplace where Tesla's the leader, and Tesla, shows you how it's done. You have the big three automakers, at least two of them doing something
Mhm.
production wise. But like if you look at Rivian and you look at Lucid, um, you know, who arguably hit the ground running,
Mhm.
not perfect. Building cars is hard, but at
Right.
least they came out with a credible product, both of those
Right.
cases.
Right.
Lucid, I came out with a very expensive car. It has built down to the 70, $80,000 range.
Mhm.
Rivian, same deal, and with the infusion of money from Volkswagen is, kind of building in that direction as well. But, you know, for the advantage that Fisker had of not having to put money into a plant, build everything from the ground up, which everyone else basically had to do. They kind of didn't they didn't have it. That's ultimately what it comes down. They didn't have that, all that stuff figured out.
Mhm.
And and you know, so they were building them in Austria and shipping them over here and shipping them wherever, and now 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 they're not. The first one I saw was actually yesterday. I saw one here in Manchester.
Oh,
Um,
really? Good.
and and I wanted to stop the people. I was like, yeah, so what are you thinking now?
Yeah. Yeah, we're scared.
any
Yeah.
any thoughts?
It is what it is. Yeah, I bought a car for $50,000. It's or more. That's now worth 14.
Yeah,
That's not good. Yeah,
right.
yeah. Like I
And
said, Fisker's timing really bad.
yeah,
Tesla, much better timing. I'm sure the inflation thing has not helped any company out there, especially a new startup. Cost of
yeah.
everything has gone up. It
The
just
cost of
happens.
money. Cost of
Yeah,
money is the big
exactly.
thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And for them to, go and like now they have to borrow cash, and what do they have to borrow with? And you know, and
Right, right. Yep.
you know,
And you just want to
yeah,
do business when money is cheap, and that's exactly, when Tesla started, money was really cheap. So
yeah,
I'm just, I'm thankful that we had the forethought to uh, refinance. We leased out of our two cars in the same year, and I went to our local, a local credit union and got an embarrassingly low
yeah,
rate that I will never give up until the cars aren't around anymore. Because why would I do that? So,
yeah. Here, shout out to credit unions.
yeah,
Are
yeah.
amazing.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell you, they not only with our first, when we were ending the lease on our Hyundai, they were just the people that came up lowest, and they
Mhm.
got connected to them, and they were total joy to deal with. And when I was done, I was like, "Hey, our other car, the lease doesn't end until October. Could we just repeat the same thing that we just did with that car?" And they went, "Okay."
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay, so we got done with our lease early, 6 months before it was done with the lease, and we own the car. So
yeah,
just yeah,
yeah.
and
I,
that's
I'm
cheap money, So
yeah, yeah. And when people ask, you're probably the same way. People come to you and ask for car buying advice, and I try not to say, you know, you should do this because everyone's different. Everyone has different priorities, right?
right,
The first thing I say is go to a credit union. You
yeah,
might be able to find the same rate or cheaper, and that's fine. But you're gonna start at a certain place.
yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, one of the other things that is part of this bankruptcy deal is the manufacturing equipment is part of the bankruptcy procedure where the
Oh.
creditors are looking to get that manufacturing equipment. The custom stuff, the stuff that um, was put in the factory specifically to build these cars. It's um, a factory that builds a lot of smaller run cars, for Mercedes and BMW and
Mhm.
Audi. So I assume what were there. All right. Anything else to say on Fisker? Do you think?
Nope,
All right.
nope. Rest in
All
peace.
right.
I'm gonna make
Uh,
a casserole and send it to Austria, so, sorry for your loss. Here's some food. Well, we have to grieve. We have to take our time to mourn the loss. So, yeah,
yeah, yeah. And we're very sorry for all the people who are now
yeah.
unemployed. We,
Yes,
truly.
yeah, sincerely, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the tough part about all of this is that, we always hope for these things to be better because, jobs and growth and, a successful company is typically a wonderful thing. So,
Yeah.
my condolences sincerely.
Yeah. All right. That's been it for this week of Car-Pinionated, our housekeeping items. Remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that helps us out, helps out the algorithm, liking the thing. There you can see all of the now 51 episodes of Car-Pinionated. Very exciting.
We've made more episodes than Fisker made cars. Okay, just
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. No, very exciting that we have 51 episodes. It's,
Yeah,
I've said this many times. This is a labor of love for us. We enjoy doing it and have a lot of fun, and it's people are watching. So anyway, so that's housekeeping thing number one. Housekeeping thing number two, if I didn't finish my thought, uh that the all the 50 episodes are on that playlist in YouTube. And we continue to be seen on Fox 61 Plus at 8 p.m. on Monday through Friday, except actually for tonight because the printer isn't speaking. But that's more often than not that's where we are. And on WGRZ in Buffalo. And so tell us about your weird car. You have that car that you like that no one else seems to appreciate. You let us know. Drop a line to dstewart at fox61.com. That's me. And we'll get, tell us a little bit of a story. Let's give some credit to that car that means something to you. Anyway, we will see you next time.